We just passed the 1 month mark of UFC 328 where Sean Strickland became the middleweight champion and defeated Khamzat Chimaev as one of the biggest underdogs, one of the biggest upsets in UFC history, getting it done in a very close fight that, let's be honest, was very tough to score. It does end up going to Strickland. He gets the win. But one of the big things that went into this fight was Khamzat Chimaev doing his camp with the Jaxxon crew and all that and some of the strength and conditioning. And a lot of people are pointing fingers as to why Chimaev lost that fight. I'm not seeing a lot of credit going to Strickland, and I'm seeing a lot of excuses from Chimaev's fight. And look, I watched that fight. Chimaev definitely didn't look himself. We can be honest about that. But there's been this insistence since the fight has been over about Coach Cal, Sam Calavitta, and the Jaxxon Podcast going out of their way to talk about how it's not Coach Cal's fault. It was something else. It was Chimaev, whoever did his weight cut or whatever. And the latest example of this was on the latest Jaxxon Podcast with Aaron Pico. And obviously Aaron's worked with Sam Calavitta before, but I just feel like this is overkill. There's been a number of videos since the fight has been done about them defending Coach Cal. So I'll show you the clip here with Aaron Pico. This is their highlight clip. This is what they really want to get out there. And then I'll show you some other clips as well. So let's watch this clip here with Aaron Pico talking about Coach Cal.
As far as getting your body in shape, Coach Cal for me is the best.
The guy's a legitimate savant in strength and conditioning for mixed martial artists.
All these posses out there talking about overtraining, kiss my ass.
The training that he did with Coach Cal, I felt like made a difference.
Sure, he's doing something right, so all those assholes
I'll say one thing,
up.
Khamzat is a great fighter, and I can't wait to see the rematch.
But if there ever was an inspiring story, it's you.
Yeah, I would love to fight Moksar. I don't think
Okay, anyway, so right off the bat, they're going off Coach Cal and talking about this. And again, this has been something that has been, talked about more and more. And I know Bisping's on here, and I like Bisping a lot, not talking any shade on him, but I don't know why they're getting so defensive about this, because you're not going to convince the internet no matter what you present to them, right? I'll give you an example later of this in MMA sort of fandom here, but they're just it's almost like, is Coach Cal Bear's dad? I don't know why they're going why they're so insistent on trying to defend Coach Cal in this whole situation, because why do you care so much about where people are pointing the finger? It was obvious Chimaev didn't look himself, but why not just make the adjustments and worry about it for the next fight? Now, there was a clip with Arman that happened before this. Again, this is another clip of them going out of their way to being no, it's not Coach Cal's fault at all. So watch this clip of Arman kind of asked out of the blue what he thinks of Coach Cal and having to defend him here. You guys can watch this for yourself.
A lot of people saw you training the entire camp. Once again, I got to give you your flowers, being a great friend to Khamzat, being there for him like he is there for you. And they give maybe a little too much credit for the fight not going the way it did to Coach Cal. And we see a lot of bad energy and people just not really understanding what you guys do at Coach Cal and what we try to set up here at the camp for you guys with your strength and conditioning with Coach Cal. Maybe you could clear the hair a little bit.
I mean, when you lose, everybody is trying to find excuses. What happened? This coach, that coach. But when he won his title, everybody said Coach Cal did a great job, and he
Amen.
People always gonna say something, and you gotta take it. So,
do you believe that the training you're doing with Coach Cal is better than you've ever done when it comes to strength and conditioning and your personal cardio?
strength conditioning is not MMA.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you good cardio, but if you're not wrestling, if you're not doing sparrings, if you don't do your technique, this garage work is not going to help you.
So, and here's the other thing: if you're gonna do this, I get it. They don't want, they don't want people blaming him. But like I mentioned, you're not gonna convince the internet of something. Put out your stuff, let them decide, and if they don't believe it, who cares? They would have been better to make this clip of Bear not asking the questions, because now he's just tell him it's not Coach Cal's fault. It's it would have been better if Arman just said this out of the blue and he's I see all these people online saying stuff about Coach Cal. They're forcing this issue here. And again, right off the top of this podcast with Pico, they have to talk about Coach Cal and how great he is. The TJ Dillashaw, interview that I talked about a couple weeks ago in another video, same sort of thing. He's going out of his way to be Coach Cal didn't do his weight cut. It was someone else. Here's just a clip from Mike Heck's interview with TJ Dillashaw where he's that's not Chimaev doing the weight cut with Coach Cal. Again, this is just overkill in my opinion.
Because he felt the first round and it would have been continuously that. But to know what he actually went through, I just had a hour-long conversation the other night with Calavitta because from the outside looking in, without even me talking to Sam, I didn't even want to reach out to him yet because he was getting so much flack for all this bullshit. But I knew looking from the outside in that he wasn't eating the foods. They were posting stuff and his nutritionist was posting stuff. I was oh, Sam wouldn't have him eating that. And then I seen him sitting in the bathtub to cut weight. It's Sam wouldn't have him be sitting in the bathtub to cut weight. It's Sam's not doing his weight cut, and then to hear the story of what actually.
So anyways, I just wanted to include that clip because again, here's Dillashaw, and I know Dillashaw works with him, but he's going out of his way to be like, it's not Coach Cal. Like, listen, like I believe that. I actually believe what they're saying. I don't think it was Coach Cal doing the weight cut. It sounded like it was someone else working with him, but like, why are they so insistent on this? Like, I just don't understand why they're going out of their way so much to do this. And the example I want to bring up of like an example of how fans, you know, you just can't win with them. Like sometimes is the Curtis Blades thing. And I'm bringing this up because, you know, anytime you hear Curtis Blades do an interview, he stutters. And it's something that Curtis has had for a very long time since he's been a child, basically, is he's had the stutter. And I know this because I interviewed Curtis Blades before he was in the UFC. I interviewed him, first interview we did, he was fighting for RFA and he was stuttering in that interview. But you get fans now going out of their way to say, oh, he's got CTE, that's why he doesn't talk properly. I even have a clip on my channel I posted 5 years ago, it's got 18,000 views, of Curtis Blades talking about his stutter since childhood. And you still have people, you know, going and talking about how he has CTE, but you don't see me posting videos every day saying like, no, it's you know, Curtis Blades does not have CTE. He has a stutter. You guys got to quit it. I feel like this is kind of the same thing. Like, I don't know why the Jaxxon Podcast and Bear are so insistent on like trying to like put all this information out so much to try and defend Coach Cal. Like, I think he probably is a great coach, but you know, I just think this is totally overkill. And again, this keeps going back to the whole Chimaev thing about there's no responsibility. It's not like, hey, we messed up, we'll do better next time. And they just keep going on and on about how this loss is so devastating. And, you know, how dare anyone point the finger and all this different stuff. So I don't know how you guys feel, but like every time I see one of these clips now, I'm just like, enough's enough. And look, I'm not the only one who feels this way. If you go look at the comments. Oh, and before I get to the comments, here's Cub Swanson talking about Coach Cal. This was pulled from AI, but I couldn't find the actual interview. But he took a critical stance on Coach Cal's methods. He said he had extreme burnout. This is Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson has been highly critical about Sam Calavitta. I didn't watch the podcast with Cub talking about it, but I'm sure they're going to do some, you know, trying to get him to take some of this back, right? Because why else would they have him on? Says that he's not ideal for MMA, the danger of scams. Caution younger fighters to avoid trainers who try and brainwash with mad scientific methodologies and whatever. Cub worked with them. He's got his own criticisms of it. I think that's fine. But why do people why do they care so much that people have a problem with this? Like, of course, one of the most popular fighters in the world doesn't look his best on fight night. People are going to point fingers, but like, why are you going out of your way so much to try and defend this? I just don't understand what the obsession is. I just think like it seems like every show now we're getting something that's talking about Coach Cal, and people are picking up on this too, because, you know, I'm not the only one who's seeing this. If you look at the comments here from this clip, it says, Coach Cal is a nutritionist, not a coach. What does he teach about MMA? Coach Cal, like, people are like not buying it, right? I know what they're trying to do. I understand if someone's, you know, saying bad things, get the word out there, but maybe put out like one clip, but you don't have to keep going on and on about it. That's my whole thing here. It's common knowledge they overtrain their athletes. Like, again, like, you're not convincing these people. This is only making things worse. People not liking the podcast. Coach Cal's the reason. It's doing the opposite, I think. The old school screening is bunk. The dude says, give his man his flowers. Never mind. So yeah, people are not happy about this. We see this here even on the Instagram post as well. Hamzat effed up with the game plan. The first round, he should have traded strikes. So again, they're not worried about that too much. He's an overtraining ambassador. So like all this effort they're trying to do, I just think it's counterintuitive. And again, I don't think there's an issue with, going through and trying to clear someone's name, but I just think this whole thing's overkill. And I'm just so tired of seeing it. Like, feel like all the time I'm seeing these clips of like, yeah, it's not Coach Cal's fault. Like all that. Like, again, I think Coach Cal's great. Like, some of his stuff works, some of it hasn't, but too much overkill for me. And again, I got nothing against the Jaxxon Podcast or Bisping or any of those guys, but like, enough's enough. Let's quit talking about this. The fight was a month ago. Let's move on and go on to greater pastures. So your thoughts on this? Is it overbearing? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.